Stay frosty and head over to EasyMut.com for the cheapest MUT coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around $40. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. And Chargers fans, you guys see the madness going on in the NFL today? You guys been on Twitter, social media? Because if you have, you know that a couple of huge blockbuster trades went down this afternoon. Oh man, guys, this is actually music to my ears because this is good for the Chargers in a couple of different ways. But first, what happened? Well, the 49ers decided to trade up with the Miami Dolphins to secure the number 3 spot. You guys know what the narrative's been for the 49ers this offseason? It's been, Jimmy Garoppolo's our guy. He's going to take us to the playoffs. Nah, man. The only reason you give up this kind of draft capital is if you're confident that your quarterback of the future, your franchise guy, is going to be available at number 3. And this is kind of telling to how the NFL views this top-heavy class of quarterbacks. This could be the first year ever that we see quarterback go back to back to back to back. I think the Falcons would be crazy to pass up on Trey Lance. And then you still got guys like Mac Jones who are in play for teams like the Broncos, the Panthers, or maybe even like a desperate team like the Chicago Bears who almost traded away their entire future for Russell Wilson. You never know. So what's this going to mean for the Chargers? Well, for one, with all these quarterbacks going in the top 10 even, you could see a lot of really top-heavy talent, a lot of really good players fall to number 13. Because if you'll notice, every single one of these transactions takes place before pick number 13, which is, of course, where the Chargers are picking. So in today's video, we're going to play a fun game of Would You Rather. Not that kind of Would You Rather, you nasties. You know what I'm talking about. We're going to be doing 3 different mock drafts to kind of determine which one you guys like as far as who could be available at the number 13 spot with all of these new things happening as far as the draft order. This is going to shake things up quite a bit, man. So we're going to tinker around with it, see what kind of damage we can do in the draft about filling these holes for the Chargers. We know a lot more about this team going into April because of who they brought in for free agency. We still have a lot of holes we need to fill. So before we get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. This moment of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Guys, we're really close to 30,000 subs. Thank you so much. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action.
I want to play a game.
Welcome to episode 3, 4, maybe even 5 of Would You Rather. We're going to be doing 3 different mock drafts. You guys are going to be telling me in the comments which one of these drafts that you guys prefer. Kind of gives us a good idea of the randomness of the draft as well as what Chargers fans are gearing towards. So with that, guys, let's get into our first Would You Rather mock draft. This is going to be draft A for the Chargers. See how things shake out. Again, the computer can be kind of a goober sometimes, so we don't know how things exactly could go. For instance, at number 3, they decided to go Trey Lance instead of Justin Fields. That is definitely a little bit shocking to me, but look at this, man. First draft off the rip, Mac Jones goes to the Eagles. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields all off the board. Maximum value for the Chargers, and honestly, this is kind of what I was hoping happened. We got Rashawn Slater and J.C. Horn, both available at number 13. What do the Chargers want to do? Well, you guys know me. I'm a very strict best player available kind of guy, especially in the first round. Some people think that's me trying to get out of taking an offensive lineman in the first round. Not at all close. Rashawn Slater at number 13 is a great value, instant plug-and-play starter, possible future Pro Bowler at the left tackle position for the Chargers. I would really have to consider J.C. Horn as well because of how different the Chargers defensive backcourt looks this season. But Rashawn Slater, if he's there, you take him. And again, that's kind of a product of how many quarterbacks went in the top 10 picks. In this case, the top 12 picks. Rashawn Slater at number 13 is something Chargers fans should definitely be crossing their fingers for. Christian Darrisaw would also be a great pick there, but I think between all those 3 guys, you've got to take Rashawn Slater. In our second round, now this is where Chargers fans have a couple of different options, a couple of different things you need to think about. In the second round, if Christian Barmore is there, you got to take him. I don't know if that's really realistic. I think he's gone well before then. We're also taking a look at guys like Pat Freiermuth, which some people are saying is baby Gronk. A lot of people look at him as the same potential as Rob Gronkowski, and this could really mirror what the Chargers did in the draft, picking up Hunter Henry so long ago. This is definitely a position of need for the Chargers going into the future. But at this point, the Chargers going into the season with the cornerback issues that they're having, I really think we have to take a look at Asante Samuel. I really do like Kelvin Joseph as well, but between the two, I'm personally definitely still higher on Asante Samuel. Chargers fans are really predicting this to happen. Maybe a bit of a safer draft this time around, but I do want to give Chargers realistic options whenever I can. I think Asante Samuel is still the best pick in my opinion. Moving on to round number 3. So far, the Chargers getting away with Rashawn Slater and Asante Samuel. I think we would all be very happy with that. We never know what could happen, though, guys. Keep that in mind. Tom Telesco keeps all his information, all his strategies very close to the chest, close to the vest. And even though we think Asante Samuel in the second round is a lock, we never know what could happen. In the third round, the Chargers, positions of need. Edge and safety definitely towards the top in the Draft Network's perspective. Interior offensive line, I would honestly have to consider this as well. We're in a year where it's very important to build a line around Justin Herbert. I think we're very dedicated to that. What we did in free agency definitely speaks to that. In this case, I think I'd still be very comfortable in doing so. So far, Trey Smith's still there. I'm very confident in him as well. One of the better guards in this year's draft. Very wide receiver, top heavy right now. We got Atwell, we got Collins, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You guys are very big fans of a lot of those. Tyson Campbell, we could certainly double dip at that position. Edge, Quincy Roche kind of pops out to me. Jordan Smith a little bit. Hamilcar Rashed, but that would be massive reaches. For me, maybe still a little early to take a wide receiver. Honestly, I'm dedicated to protecting our guy, Justin Herbert, man. In this pick, I think I'm going to have the Chargers take Trey Smith. Provides great competition for guys like Matt Filer and Ode Abushi. I don't know, man. If we were dedicated to protecting Justin Herbert, this move would really solidify that. 2 picks in the top 3 rounds going to offensive line. I think the Chargers are set. We're future-proof for a long time in protecting Justin Herbert. At pick number 97, Chargers again have some options. Really good value in seeing Paulson Adebo here. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still there. I would highly consider that as well. Jordan Smith. We would still be reaching for Hamilcar at this point, but I think Edge to me, guys, is massively important. Honestly, I would see a scenario where the Chargers maybe trade back up into the second round to grab a guy like Joe Tryon. In this instance, as far as scheme fit and guys that I really like, it's really hard to pass up on Nasir Ladine. It's really hard to pass up on Adebo. But the Chargers have put themselves in a situation where they really need a guy that fits their system, that can be a difference maker at edge. I'm going to go with Hamilcar Rashed in this particular draft. And again, guys, if you don't like that, there's 2 more drafts coming up in here in just a moment for you guys to pick. So in a moment, we're going to go over all of the drafts, and you guys can kind of see who I selected. If you like draft A the best, you can type draft A in the comment section, but we're not done. We still got draft B and C to get through. So in draft B, let's see if we can shake things up a little bit. See if the Chargers decide to go a different direction in the first round, second round, etc. In the first round, things go more or less how I expected. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. The Chargers at pick number 13 have some options. Mac Jones still on the board. J.C. Horn still on the board. And Christian Darrisaw still on the board. This is actually pretty great. Chargers have a couple of different options here. 1, we can trade down with maybe the Pats, the Bears, the Washington football team, if any one of those guys is super high on Mac Jones. 2, we can go with J.C. Horn, really solidify that defensive back core a little bit. Again, we lost Casey Hayward Jr. this season. Or 3, we can go Christian Darrisaw, Elijah Vera Tucker, and solve that offensive line issue. In this instance, in this particular draft, I'm going to say Tom Telesco, who in that interview said he felt okay about the defensive back core, is going to select J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. He gets another lengthy, speedy, probably one of the best cornerbacks in this year's draft to work into Brandon Staley's defense. We saw a lot of resources go into the offense this offseason, especially that line. Maybe they're targeting some guys in the draft for their defense to help fill a lot of holes on that team. Next up in round number 2, we still have a huge problem in a couple of different areas, actually. Edge and offensive tackle. Gregory Rousseau being here, is a huge value in my opinion, but not one that I think the Chargers need to immediately solve. They need to immediately solve that left tackle position. In this instance, we still have Dylan Raduns on the board, which again would be a value. I don't know if he's going to be there for us in the second round. I can definitely see it happening, especially with a lot of these quarterbacks and other skill positions being taken in front of him. But at the same time, I can see a scenario where we trade back into the late second round like we did last year to secure an offensive lineman if we do indeed go like a J.C. Horn with the 13th pick. But in this instance, we're definitely going to take Dylan Raduns. Rousseau would have been a great pick there as well as far as the value. But we need to secure that offensive line. And so far, we're looking really, really good in protecting Justin Herbert. Going into the third round, the Chargers have solved possibly two of their biggest needs on this team in offensive line and in cornerback. Where can we go now? Where I'm looking at a lot of value here. Pick number 76. Honestly, guys, take a look at how the board fell. You tell me who I'm going to pick. You tell me who I'm going to pick right now. I see values in Josh Myers. I see values in Amon-Ra St. Brown. But my guy right here, man, Carlos Boogie Basham, is still available at number 76. I think he would be a great fit for the Chargers in helping this 3-4 defense. I don't know if he's viewed more as a 3-4 guy. I think he's more of a 4-3 guy, yeah. But we can definitely line him up at maybe defensive end and feel really, really good about it. As far as value is concerned, I like some of these wide receivers. Tommy Togiai is really, really tempting as well because he's really good against the run. But this Chargers team needs help on the edge, and I really am very high on Boogie Basham, man. So we're going to take him in the third round. The Chargers still have one more third round pick. Can we round out some of these needs? So far, we've hit on three really big ones for the Chargers. Who's going to be available with our second, third round pick? We still have Peyton Turner, Michael Carter at running back. I don't think we're going to go running back. Quincy Roche is still there. We got more corners. Ben Cleveland, interior offensive line. Is he more of a center? No, he's more of a right guard, which again would definitely provide good competition for Oday Abushi. In this instance, though, man, we've hit on a lot of positions of need, right? Instant starters at edge, left tackle, and cornerback. I think I want to round out draft B with another starter at a position where we're really hurting, and that's safety. There's a couple of guys in here. Washington looks pretty good. For me, however, in the tape that I've watched, I've been most impressed with Andre Cisco, who's still available here at the second, third round pick for the Chargers. So that's who I'm going to go with out here. Andre Cisco. Maybe gives a little bit of help. I do still very much so believe in this Nasir Adderley, but at the same time, if that doesn't work out, you want to draft B. You want to plan B, right? And Andre Cisco, you can use him in a variety of different ways, and I think it does solve an immediate issue for this Chargers defense as far as holes are concerned. So that's going to be draft B, guys. Actually super excited about this one. This one turned out really, really nice in my opinion. Let's see if we can top it with draft C. Final draft in this episode of Would You Rather. Do the Chargers decide to go one way or the other? Offensive line, cornerback. What are you guys thinking? How does this shake out? We could definitely trade down. I'm glad I was on this screen, actually. The Chargers have an offer for an extra second round pick to trade down with the Bears. This is something I can definitely see happening, man. This is something I can definitely see happening. The Bears super desperate, almost traded away their entire future for Russell Wilson. Let's go ahead in this final scenario, pick up an extra second round pick and trade with the Bears and see what happens. The Bears, of course, taking Mac Jones, quarterback of the future. The Chargers moving all the way down to 20, and Elijah Vera Tucker still available. Tevin Jenkins, also out of Oklahoma State. You cannot sleep on this guy. Between the two, I think Tevin Jenkins is most likely available, but this is really tough, man. I want to take Elijah Vera Tucker here. I think there is a possibility he's there at 16. But again, more realistically, in my opinion, Tevin Jenkins could still be there, and he would be a solid answer at left tackle. What is he, like 6'6"? Yeah, 315 pounds. For the sake of argument and realism here, I'm going to take Tevin Jenkins over Elijah Vera Tucker just because I don't think Vera Tucker's available at that spot. But if he is, you do have to pounce on it. But this is a trade down scenario. The Chargers do have an extra second round pick. We've solved that left tackle position. The Bears got their quarterback of the future. Who's going to be available with the Chargers' first second round pick? The Chargers, wow, man, this would actually be a great trade down scenario for the Bolts. Available in round 2. Now, given the names that are still available here and the fact that we have an extra second round round pick. I normally wouldn't do this, but with the kind of value that we have in that extra pick and trading down, I'm going to give the Chargers a shot at a tight end in the future of Pat Freiermuth, who's being labeled as baby Gronk. Honestly, in trading down, you're going to get that replacement long term for Hunter Henry, who he's being comped to as well as pick up another position of need. As far as value is concerned, you can still pick up a Wyatt Davis and feel really good, a Landon Dickerson, but because we have an extra second round pick, I'm going to take the Chargers tight end of the future. We're trying to top that draft B, which was so aggressive. Our second round pick with that trade down scenario, couple of really nice names. Who do we have so far? We got Tevin Jenkins and Pat Freiermuth. The Chargers, I still see in this instance needing a cornerback. I do like Landon Dickerson. Rondale Moore is definitely shooting up draft boards. I'm really high on Jabril Cox as well. I think he's a great coverage linebacker, but the Chargers definitely need to address that cornerback position. In this scenario, we could have passed on Freiermuth and maybe picked up, let's say, like a Joe Tryon, Asante Samuel combo, and I would feel really, really good about that. But because of the value I was seeing out of Pat Freiermuth, we decided to go that way with the extra second round pick. So we're going to go ahead and pick up Asante Samuel here. Am I going to regret not taking the Tryon Samuel combo? Maybe a little bit, but you don't see that extra second round pick very often. Now, the Chargers in this instance have an opportunity to trade back up. It's going to cost us an extra sixth round pick, but we do have two of those. Who is still on the board, actually? Let me go ahead and take a look at this. If Tryon's still on the board, we're going to go after him. Is gone. The only guy I would trade up for at this point is maybe a Richie Grant or Jabril Cox, so we're going to go ahead and pass on that and see who's available at pick number 77. We don't want to go too crazy with all of these trades. At pick number 77 with the Chargers' third round pick, we still have Tommy Togiai, who I'm really high on. The Chargers desperately need edge help, which I think at this point we'd be reaching. Or we could go safety with Jamar Johnson here. I think in this instance, I'm looking at best player available. Tommy Togiai does have some red flags too, but he's really, really good against the run, and that's something that the Chargers have really struggled against these past several seasons. So I'm going to take Tommy Togiai here. I'm pretty high on him. I'm a big fan of him. I really do think that in helping that interior defensive line, not only immediately, it offers great insurance for Linval Joseph and future proofs that really nice nose tackle in 3-4 going into future seasons. And then finally, we still have a huge need at edge. And again, this is something myself personally, very much so value, because again, with really good pass rush comes really good defensive back play. Hamza Nasir-Ladin is super tempting for me. I'm not going to lie. We still got Elijah Griffin, Keith Taylor Jr. If we want to double dip in a cornerback, we definitely could. Definitely really nervous about this one, guys, but I do want a little bit of variety. I'm actually going to go for Hamza Nasir-Ladin. I'm going to tell you guys why. Derwin James is so important to this defense, right? But unfortunately, Derwin James does have a lot of injury concern. A lot of people are comping Hamza Nasir-Ladin to like a budget Derwin James. He's not going to be Derwin James. He's not going to be anywhere close to as good as Derwin James, but you can use him in a lot of the same ways that you can use Derwin James. Maybe start him at free safety if you need to, but you could really switch these guys up as far as who's playing in the box for, Derwin James or Nasir-Ladin. So as far as value is concerned, as far as like future-proofing this team a little bit, giving us some insurance, maybe giving us some more opportunities to maybe play even Derwin James at free safety if we have to, I'm going to go with Nasir-Ladin here. Great opportunity to be different in the third round, but I do think Nasir-Ladin would be such a huge add for Brandon Staley. He likes using his players like chess pieces, right? I feel like Nasir-Ladin offers so much versatility and where you can play him that it would be a value pick for the Chargers in the third round, as well as Derwin James proof. So I'm going to show you guys the 3 mock drafts in the comment section. You guys can tell me which ones that you guys like the most. We're going to start here with draft A. In draft A, the Chargers select Rashawn Slater, Asante Samuel, Trey Smith, and Hamilcar Rashed. Really rounding out those positions of need with quality players. Honestly, not a bad draft right there. Draft B, the Chargers select J.C. Horn in the first round, Dylan Radins in the second, Boogie Basham in the third, and Andre Sisco in the third round pick. And honestly, as far as quality starters, this looks really solid to me. Really tough to beat it. But in draft C, we went ahead and traded down with the Chicago Bears, picking up Tevin Jenkins for left tackle, using that extra second round pick for our Hunter Henry replacement and Pat Freiermuth, picking up Asante Samuel Jr., Tommy Togiai, and Hamza Nasir-Ladin. Now, this is the part where you guys come in. Which one of these drafts did you guys like the most? Which one would you prefer? Would you rather go draft A, B, or C? Let me know in the comment section below. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me in this episode of Would You Rather. Hope you guys did enjoy. Hit us up with a like and sub on your way if you did. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty.